Hey, it's Brian Terrian here from the Disability Digest. Many people in their quest for obtaining their Social Security disability benefits choose to or end up hiring a Social Security disability attorney or non-attorney representative. I'll refer to them as representative in this video, but they don't really know the right questions to ask in the selection process and oftentimes have some buyer's remorse. So in my experience, I've condensed down 9 different questions, categories of questions that I believe one should ask to get the best value and the best results for maximizing their chances of winning their disability benefits. Now, I've been helping people go through and get their disability approved since 2006, and it's currently my pleasure here at the Disability Digest to serve 173,000 people, a little more than that. So I've seen a lot, and I've seen some working relationships that have gone good and some that have gone bad, so that's how I've derived at this list. So here we go. Then at the end, I'll give you some tips on how you can, what you really need to know when you're following a representative through the process, like what they should actually be doing and how you can get access to that. So if you do hire a representative, then you have the step-by-step process that they should be doing and you can follow along. So hang on until the end. So the first thing is, when you're selecting a disability representative, you want to be aware of where you're at in the process. If you're just filing for disability and you approach somebody, they might say, if they have a traditional older practice, file on your own, see what happens, and if you get denied, come back and see us. My concern about that is you may not know what you're doing, and the reason why you've gone to a representative is for help in the beginning. And the information that you put in your application in the very beginning will influence your case throughout the process. There's some things that, if not done properly, are very difficult to clean up. So I would be concerned about that. That could be because some disability representatives either want to wait until the fees build up, until you've been out of work for a while, or they just don't have the staffing or the desire to do initial application work the right way, okay? So that's one. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the processes towards the end and what should actually be done. In my opinion, the top shelf process for a disability representative coming up soon. So be aware of their strategy. Next thing is representative location. I commonly see people inquiring, what's the best Social Security disability representative for me? I am in Des Moines, Iowa, or whatever the city is. And in my opinion, there used to be a valid strategy for that, because the Social Security disability attorney or representative, I'm going to stick with my representative term, would practice in the same area and would have a rapport with certain judges. And so there's a relationship and a trust factor there. But what I'm seeing post-COVID, if you will, is that the judges have been remoted, and I expect the telephone and the video hearings are going to continue for quite some time, at least at the time of this recording. And even if they do go back and there's the opportunity for in-person hearing, my point that I want to make here is it's better for you to hire somebody that's good with these steps that I'm going to give you, rather than somebody that is local just because they're local. And in the past, it used to be very comfortable for people to go down actually into a physical office and sit with somebody and, have a coffee and a donut and talk to them about their case. But that is passe. And there's people that do this work that are really good at it. They have great processes. They do a lot of it. and they do it in every state. And what it really comes down to is a bad attorney's not going to win, could necessarily not win a good case. If you have a good case with good medical evidence and it's worked up, there should be very little work for an attorney to do in the courtroom. And I know this because we've listened to Social Security hearings. We have access to the files. And sometimes the involvement for the attorney is maybe less than a minute of actually speaking if a case is done right. So that's point number 2, is the representative location. Step number 3, if you choose somebody to work on your case, I encourage you to drill down on what is it that they actually do for their area of practice. So there's attorneys and non-attorneys that do this work. And if it's an attorney that's doing different areas of practice, like work comp, divorce, debt settlement, dog bites, car, accidents and that type of stuff, and oh, by the way, they're doing some Social Security, you would really want to ask, like, well, how much Social Security work do you do? How long have you had a Social Security practice? How many cases do you do on a monthly basis? Because you want to find somebody that is doing this work day in and day out. Typically, non-attorney representatives, this is really their main area of practice and income, because they're not lawyers. They're not doing different areas. I'm not saying they're better. I'm just saying it's different. So look at what their core competency is, how many cases they're doing a month, how long that they have done this work. And you can certainly ask their win percentage. And, if you're going to ask a win percentage, say, listen, what's your win percentage for somebody like me that's under 50? Because it's going to be different for somebody that's under 50 than it is for over 50. Typically what I see for people that are over 50 is 47% of them get approved and they're paid in like 9 months. That's at the time of this recording. It's not 100, but still pretty good. So you want to ask that. And then also ask, like, what type of experience do you have with my particular case? Maybe you have some uniqueness. Maybe you're a 38-year-old like Carrie, who had mental illness, and she had no other physical limitations. She just had mental illness, very severe, but qualified. So what experience do you have with that? Or fibromyalgia or lupus or other autoimmune conditions that are self-reported, where the medical evidence really needs to be built up to demonstrate that they have limitations, unlike somebody that has a bad back that's had a fusion, and you can see that on an MRI or an X-ray. That's much easier to point out. So what type of experience do you have in winning my case? Next is, if you are going to consider working, can you win my case if I'm working? Can you win my case if I'm earning $400 a month, $500 a month? At the time of this recording, the allowed amount is $1,350 a month. But those cases, in my experience, in the circles I travel in, really, really hard to win. So what's the threshold? Can you work at all with your representation relationship? Would they prefer that you totally don't work? Where is that? Okay. Next one, super important, communication plan. This is where a lot of working relationships fall down in this area. The representative doesn't clearly establish and communicate a communication plan. Like, if you call in, when can you expect to call back, and vice versa? Is it same day? Is it 2 business days? Same with email. Same with case status. Like, when can I expect a case status? So understand what's important to you, and a response. And this should already be in place if somebody's doing this work. Say, listen, if you call us, this is the time that we expect that we can get back to you. You email us, this is the address you send it to. This is when you can expect a response. And if we contact you and we ask you for information on your case, you need to have it back to us within 48 hours, that type of stuff. This just solves a lot of problems. And the other thing on this is that people understand this and they agree to it, but then they don't pay attention to it. Then they're calling and they're waiting for a call back, and this might be condition driven, but this is a business relationship. And there's a lot of cases out there right now. And for disability representatives, although the pool of them are shrinking, because of the approval rates are low and getting paid is difficult, that puts the disability representative actually in a driver's seat where there's a lot of cases. So if you're not a good claimant or a good client, it's not going to help your relationship. And if you start jumping for reasons of communication, which is the number one problem in my experience, why people leave their representatives, like, they haven't called me. Well, maybe they did, or maybe you don't have the right communication plan. So get that sorted out. Very important. Okay, last, most important, the fee structure and what they're going to do, right? You pay the same amount for a disability representative. It's a standard fee set by Social Security. It's the same for an attorney as it is for a non-attorney. And at the time of this recording, it's 25% of whatever back benefits are recovered, and that's capped at $6,000. So if there's $10,000 of back benefits, it's $2,500 that Social Security pays the representative directly, and the balance goes to you, and you get your check every month. So here's the situation. There's some other fees that representatives may charge you. They may charge you for medical records, some office-related fees. You want to make sure that you find those out. It'll be in the fee agreement that you authorize with them. But the core fee, the majority of the money, is based on the 25% of the back benefits capped at $6,000. So if you're going to pay the same amount for a disability representative, and there's say there's 500 attorneys that do this work, 400 non-attorneys, you have a choice from all of these. Here's my last big tip for you. You want to make sure you understand what they're going to do for you for your money. In the beginning, I mentioned this situation where somebody said, hey, file for disability. If you get denied, then, come back and see us, right? I wouldn't say that's a viable option for you. Maybe a very good attorney, maybe good in court, but that case should have been worked up in the beginning. So this is my opinion of what I've seen that has really worked well, and some things that people should be doing. Regardless of where you're at in the process, if you haven't filed or all the way through, in order for somebody to understand your case, they need to look at your medical records. You can tell them whatever you want, but unless they actually see the medical evidence that Social Security is going to judge your case on, then they really don't understand your case, just my opinion, because it's evidence-based. So one, are they going to request your medical records? Two, what are they going to do with them? Are they going to communicate anything to Social Security? Ideally, what one should do is review your medical evidence, add additional evidence, and write a case brief to Social Security communicating why you're disabled. Some other things that would be helpful for your case are doctor's support forms. They're called residual functional capacity report forms. Doctors fill them out, confirms that you've been being treated by them, what their opinion is on your limitations, and how many days a month you would not be able to work. They're recognized by Social Security. They're super helpful in getting you approved. Your attorney and non-attorney should be helping you get those filled out if you haven't done so already. Additional evidence, you can submit video evidence. You can get third-party testimonials from people that you used to work with, or friends or family. If you're at the very beginning, they should help you collect the information, submit your application for you. That would be ideal. So these are just some of the things. Following up with Social Security, if they're going to submit a brief or other information, when are they going to follow up? What are they going to provide you for a case status? So I'm hitting you with a lot here, but if you're just going to get somebody that's going to be an order taker and take your information and submit it to Social Security, and there's companies out there that's pretty much all they do, you're not getting any value for what you're paying. And they're just, frankly, some cases are going to get approved anyway, right? So what are you getting, right? So that's key. Here's how we can help you. Here at the Disability Digest, we have a Social Security Disability Approval course, and it is built to help you understand what to do and what not to do to go through the process. And people use this simply to go forward and get approved on their own and not pay the legal fees. But if you want to use a representative, or at your later stages of your case and you need to use a representative, the course will really help you understand the steps that I just pointed out to you, what needs to be done at each one of these steps: collecting the medical records, residual functional capacity reports, additional evidence, all of that, so that you can follow along with your representative and say, hey man, listen, I don't think you did that right. Oh, I think you missed that step. Right? So you're getting the best value for your money. So that's how we can help you. So we talked about the tips, action steps. Next, if you want to obtain the course, then just look below or around this video. You can join us as a member. And the value of joining us as a member is you'll go through the evaluation process. It takes about 2 minutes. We ask you some questions, and then we can direct you to the resources like the disability approval course that you might need. Or if you're already approved, then you definitely want to make sure you hang on to this, because Social Security disability cases are getting reviewed. And oftentimes, unfortunately, people are not winning their reviews, and they need to go back through the legal process to prove that they qualify. So look for the link below, join us as a member, complete the evaluation, and then we'll guide you to the next steps to help you obtain the disability approval course, help you select your representation so that you can move forward and get your benefits approved. I hope you find this helpful, and stay tuned for more. Make it a great day. It's been Brian from the Disability Digest.